Welcome to Macro Mornings. What I want to show you here is how to create a building grid using our new Create XLines command combined with our Place Alignment Blocks command. What we have here is we have two grid lines, one for the x-axis for the building and one for the y-axis for the building. I also have a spreadsheet that I've tabulated the grid axes for the vertical grids and the horizontal grids for the building. And what I want to do is build a building grid and then place anchor bolt locations at all the intersection locations and then compute all of the CAD points for stakeout purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by running the Create XLines command. So the Create XLines command is in the Modeling Toolbox. We've got to create XLines here. And we pick the alignment we want to use. In this case, I'm picking the AA line, and we're starting at station 0, ending at 500, which is the length of that line. And then here we can say we want the X-line length to be minus 380 on the left side and 0 on the right side. In other words, we want it to go only on the left side and be the same length as the alignment up on the Y-axis. And then on the X-line layer, we're going to put it on the building grid lines layer. And we're going to make these lines 3D, and we're going to make them elevation offset 0. These have been put in at the elevation of the building foundation. Here we can say we want to draw station labels, so we want to label these grid lines. We're going to put those on the X-lines labels, and we're going to label them on the right-hand end. In this case, we can turn off all the functions apart from extra locations, specify a first location, so station 0, and we're going to call that AA, and then we're going to add that to this grid. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste my data from my Excel spreadsheet. So I'm just going to highlight all that data in my spreadsheet. Copy that, Control C, and then just come over here and paste it into here. That creates me my grid. I can create apply. Now I'm going to pick the 0, 0 line. For the other axis, it goes from 0 to 380. This time I want to have nothing on the left. I want 500 feet on the right, or 500 meters on the right. I'm going to use the building grids line. Again, I'm going to use the same parameters here for everything. Leave all these blank. Set this to 0 and make this the 0 line. And we're going to add that. And then I'm going to copy and paste the data for my other grid as well. Control C and then Control V over here. And then we're going to say apply. And very quickly there we've created our grid line for the whole building. And now the next step is I want to create points at all the grid intersections. So I'm going to go to the CAD menu. I'm going to go create from CAD. In this case, I'm going to pick intersections, pick all the grid lines that I want to calculate the intersections for. Just turn off my alignments. I don't need those. I want to pick the polyline over here and the polyline on there. And now I'm going to pick all the intersections. We're going to start here with point number 1. And we're going to call this IP for intersection point and put it on the points layer and hit apply. That just created me all those points. So if I go to the View Filter Manager and turn on my IDs, you can see all my points now. Now, in addition to that, what I can do now is I can go back to the data prep menu of Rockpile. I can say place align blocks here. And now what I want to do is I want to pick this alignment right here as my alignment. I want to use a block here called 4-point anchor plate, and I'm going to place that on the building anchor plates layer. We're not going to rotate them. We're not going to change the elevation. We're just going to leave it at elevation 100, which is the floor level. And we're going to give it a coordinate. No, we're not. We're going to go in here to points. We're going to pick all the points in the drawing. So here we can say pick all of these points. And in this case, we can decide we want to use the point feature for the block. So in other words, we can give the blocks the same name as the point data if we want to, or we can just place the block on the point layer. We don't want to do that either because the block already has the layers in it. And all I do is hit apply. Now that's created me all my point blocks here. What I can do now is I can explode all those blocks if I want to. So I can go in here. I can say select all the blocks. So go to CAD, edit rather, explode. And we're going to explode those blocks and say explode them. And that creates me all my line work now. So if I zoom in on one of these, you can see it's got a line and then it's got another line. Now we can say we want to pick points at all the centers of all the circles. So I'm going to pick all this data. I'm going to go CAD, create from CAD again. In this case, I'm going to say create points at all the arc and circle centers. And this time we're going to call it CP for, or let's call it ABP for anchor bolt points. And this time we're going to start these at point number 2000, put it on the points layer and hit apply. That now created me 4 points for every anchor bolt. And if we zoom in on this now, you can see I've got 4 points at the center locations of each of these anchor bolts that I can now select and send out to the field. So within 5 minutes there, I managed to build out a whole building, tabulate the grids, create the grid lines, create the intersection lines, create points at intersections, place the blocks and explode the blocks, and create the anchor bolt locations. And now I can send all that data to the field. So very, very quickly, a 5-minute piece of work, now with very quick tools to calculate everything out automatically. Thank you.